So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Can you all see my MS Word screen? Can you all see?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you very much. So far we've covered the File tab, the Home tab. Hopefully it's been useful for all of us. So we'll move on to Insert. Last week we tried to skip the Insert, but I realized that will not help us. So let's go through the Insert tab. Okay, and as much as possible, we'll try and focus only on Windows, and then maybe intermittently we'll look at um, the other users, that's the Mac, and if someone is around to help them. But if not, we'll try and focus much on the Windows uh, interface today. So in the Insert button or in the Insert tab, you can insert a cover page, which we did last time, right? A cover page basically helping you to give an idea of what the whole document is about, right? So kind of like a formal introduction to what the document is. And there are different types. There are some templates here. You can even get more from the website. So we'll go with the very basic one, which is the iron light. It's quite simple. Some people also use the WISP. And the very popular one you see is the iron light. So here we can change our year. That's the date in which you are writing. That's 2026. Maybe you can add the month, let's say 0 to 10. And then you can have the document title. What the document is, maybe a proposal on um, funding for a grant related to um, related to what? Anyone? It's a typo. That's the title of our document. Maybe it's a grant proposal. Let me just put it down. Okay, and the subtitle may be on maybe prepared by, or you can, if it's an organization, maybe UNICEF or something. Yeah, maybe the branch of UNICEF, maybe admin department or something like that. Yeah, so it was prepared by Frederick Bruce or your name and you put it there. You can also as well change the font style and all that here to suit what you are doing. But this gives you an idea of a cover page. Well, you can also create your own cover page template and then keep it to be used for. Oh, Lydia says she cannot hear anything. Is it just her or
I can
it's
hear
a
you.
general
I
problem?
can hear you.
I can hear
All
you.
right, thank you. Okay, okay. So Lydia, I think you should maybe leave and join again. Okay, so that's just for a cover page, right? We can do that. We can also insert a blank page and then a page break, but we'll come to that quite later on in the session. So let me go back to another document where I try to insert a table. So I'll give four, okay, not four. Let me just do them. So to insert a table, let's say we have a 3 by 4 table, or let's say 3 by 3 table. Okay. So the question I want to ask is there a standard way of representing a table? This is in the context of academia, writing a paper, a proposal, a thesis, or any table just works. Yes, Irene.
Your slide though. You're only seeing you have not shown the slide yet.
I've not shown.
You're saying that we are not seeing. I thought what you were doing, you were showing it to us so that we can also see, but
You can't see my screen.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Let me
I
stop.
can
No,
see, I can see.
we see you, but
Can see, we can see.
Miss
You're on a
Irene, I
Word,
think
yeah,
maybe,
document.
yes, I'm showing my Word
yeah.
document. Do we all see it?
Yes, we can see.
Madam Irene, do you see or you don't see this the word?
Maybe,
Maybe
Dr. Irene,
network.
you could exit the meeting and rejoin. Probably you are facing a network issue, right?
Okay. Whilst we wait for her to rejoin or try and solve that problem. Yeah, my question was, is there a standard way? Does anyone know of any standard way of representing a table?
Uh,
Anybody?
okay, for
Let's share
me, I don't
ideas.
know if it's a standard way, but for my supervisor, he doesn't like the vertical. He just like maybe just two horizontal lines,
Two
bottom and
horizontal lines.
maybe top and bottom.
Okay, top and bottom. Any other person? Maybe you've heard it somewhere. Is there a standard way, or maybe your supervisor prefers a type of table? We are looking at inserting a table today. Okay, so just as Joanna said, I hope I'm right. I didn't see the name. Yes, a table is made up of horizontal and vertical lines, but the standard way of representing them, you should not have a vertical line in a table. It's not allowed. If you've seen it in the paper, you've seen it somewhere, it means they also didn't know. So it's not allowed that you put vertical lines in a table. That is the standard. Okay, so moving on from there, it means that what we have done here is wrong. So what do we do? Let's look at the top left corner. We have the header row, which is this side. Okay, let me kind of put a color there so that we can differentiate it from today. Okay, so I'm shading this one in red is the header row, the header. Okay, that's the head of the table family. Okay, then we have this one is also the one, let me put it in, let's say, black, is a row. Okay, it's a row, just like the row goes from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. So that's a row. And then the column goes from the top to the bottom. Okay, so if I'm looking for the middle column, what will it be? Or who can tell me the color of the middle column? Let me color all of them well so that we can have easy answers. Let me see how best I can do this. And then let's see, we have, okay, so I'm coloring all the columns and I want the middle column. This will be hard. Okay, I think I've given out the answer already, but let's just.
Is actually not in this meeting, but I don't know how. Okay. All right.
Okay. So the first column, which is painted green, that's the first column. Okay. Then the middle part, which is now black, is the middle column. And then the one in kind of a blue color is the last column. Okay. So if you are trying to manipulate the standard table or to fit into the standard table, you know what to click or uncheck at the left-hand side. So we have a header row. So if you click on header row, it means you need a header row. If it's unchecked, it means there's no header row, or we want to do something specific to the header row. So let's say there's no color, and then I have a header row here. Let's say I uncheck. Even if I uncheck, it still has to have a header and a footer, right? So that one is kind of a way that you cannot compromise on. So whether it's checked or unchecked, nothing really happens, right? But if I want a total row is the last row, okay? The last row that you have in the table, that's the total row, or you may call it a footer row. So if I decide to add a total row, it means that something specific will happen to the formatting on the last row, okay? Then banded rows, meaning that I want a band. So I want to see the lines. If it's not there, it means that the lines should not be there, right? And if I have banded columns, it means I want to see the lines in the columns. If it's not banded. That is, if you uncheck it, then it means I don't want to see the column. So let me take a very good example and then we'll try and then manipulate it to see. So the standard table that you should use is this particular one here, plain table 2. Plain table 2. So anytime you insert a table, try and find this one, plain table 2. Plain table 2 just has lines moving from the left-hand side of the screen to the right-hand side of the screen. You see there are no column or vertical lines. Okay. Any questions so far? Is it clear? We want a type of table that does not have vertical lines. That's the first step. Is this one very clear? Okay, I'll try and then do it again. So I go to insert and then table, and then I draw my table, for example, something like this. Once I'm done with that, or once I'm still activated on the table side, I have a whole lot of options here, plain table, grid table, and all the ones, the fancy ones that you want to add colors to. But as much as possible, try to choose examples of the table that doesn't have vertical lines. So this one, for example, is not good. This one is also not good. This one is a good example because it doesn't have vertical lines, right? This one may be acceptable. I'll come to why in a minute. This one is also good. It doesn't have vertical lines. And then so many examples here. You can even choose the ones with colors. For example, this one is also kind of a plain table, but or a standard table, but it has the header row with a different color, right? And then maybe you can also find other ones here. But basic as much as possible, just choose a plain table like this. It's just lines like how do you call that book? My first copy book. Yes, as if you are going to write in them. So it's a bit difficult when you are typing in this, right? So usually I would advise that you can keep it as it is before. You can type your, let's say, reference, right? Maybe the year. Because when you are typing, you kind of need like a guide and then maybe the objective of the work. And then we have the method they use, and then maybe conclusion, right? If it's easier to type when there are guidelines like this, but imagine it's like this and you are typing. Well, you don't even know where one is ending or starting, right? So you can start like this, but make sure that once you are done, you put it in a form where there are no verticals. Is that okay for now? Any question on tables? Yes, Francisca. Okay, I thought I saw a hand up. Okay, so hopefully this is very clear. Now I've added more rules to illustrate something about the banded rules. So I see a lot of lines in my work. I can choose to remove the lines. Okay, that's the very horizontal lines that make it a row. So let's say I want to do this as this format. So it's not banded. This is an unbanded table. There are some instances where you want to do it like this. Maybe you don't want to see so many lines in your work, right? This is also acceptable because first of all, it does not have a vertical line, but you've just made it an unbanded kind of table. And how do you do that? Whilst you have the banded, you uncheck the banded row sign at the left top corner, and then you are good to go. There are some also templates in there that do the unbanded for you naturally. Okay, they are not here, but yes, if you have a lot of lines, even though it's all horizontal, you can still choose the banded rows, and then you are good to go. Any question?
Dr. Bruce, please, I want to know the small boxes in the table. Is it normal or you actually made it part of the table?
Okay, so it is normal, but it's not default. So I'll refer you back to our earlier sessions where we had the paragraph. Remember the paragraph guy? So the table, it's showing the paragraph in that format. So if I turn off my paragraph, then everything here that is here like that will kind of go away. Okay, so I have this particular formatting to help me to write or kind of, how do you put it, guide me in what I'm doing so that I know that, okay, every circle here is, how do you call it, especially when it's like this. But of course, if it's initially like this, where you have all borders, then you can see that this is one cell, right? But if I don't have that paragraph thing on, it helps me to also it becomes confusing, right? So I can be able to guide myself here. So it's not default, but you can add it, and it helps you to like guide you in writing.
My first time joining, that's why.
Oh, sorry. So it's a special feature that I'm using. Sorry. Okay. All right. So back to any questions so far on the table. I don't want to go too far before you call me back. It becomes difficult repeating everything. So as
Those
much as possible, you draw my attention when I'm there. Any question, any comment? We have a table. It should not have lines, vertical lines, right? So if the vertical lines, how do I turn it off? I go back to the table. You can go to layout or design. Should be design. Once you make it no vertical lines, right? And that's the plain one we talk about here. And then further on, if I don't want to also make my a lot of lines in my work. Maybe I just want to show the beginning and then the ending part as, or maybe some of them, like just a section of it. Let's say here, I just want to make it unbanded, right? Then it affects everything. But at least I have the beginning and then the ending, having a line to show you the start and end of the table. If I want to add a total row, then here we'll have an extra line. So it kind of makes it like everything on top of it, there's a total. So you can write total here if maybe you are doing some kind of thing. But if this is maybe a yes or something, then the objective, you can add it here. So when you add a total row, it makes sure that the last row is also having that full 2 lines. Any question?
of can you come again? I'm lost. Where you get the total row, the banded row, where did you go?
Okay, so the normal table looks like this. Is this part clear? Or the default table, when you draw the table, looks something similar like this. Is this part clear? So I can move on from there.
No.
How to draw a table? You didn't get that part. Okay, so I'll repeat it. You go to insert, you choose a table, depending on the columns that you want. You can insert a table, you can draw a table. There are so many options there. You can explore that later. By example, I've drawn a 4x8 table like this, and I've put in my text. So text A, text B, text C, just to save time, and text D, right? Okay, so I need to put in figures. So let's say in year 1, my total is, or let's say the sum of people in a place, right, was, let's say, 2.5 billion people, right? And then in the next year, or let's say 2025, in one particular region, okay, so this is year and then region. So I'll leave that. And then let's say this is Accra. In Accra, there were 2.5 billion people. And then let's say in Kumasi, there were a certain number, 1.5. And then let's say in Koforidua, yes, let's say there were 1 million people, right? And then the years keep on going. Let's say in 2007, I have an increase. So let's say 2.8, For some weird reason, the people in Kumasi drop, and then in Koforidua, it's appreciated a little, or let's say 1.1. Okay, so I have this particular table. I want to show it in Word. And then at the end of the day, I have to find a total. So I'll put a total here in the last column. Is this part clear? Okay, but because we are putting this in a paper or journal or whatever in an academic setting, we don't need the vertical lines. So you just go to the upper part of your Word document, and then you see options like header row, total row, banded row, first column, last column, banded columns, right? So the first thing I want to do is I don't want columns at all. So everything column should be off. I don't want columns. So I can just highlight everything and there's no column. I don't want anything about columns. If that doesn't work for me, then I can just go to the templates that are given by Word and choose one of them that does not have vertical lines. An example is this one. You can also choose this one. You can choose this one and then this one as well. They are all tables that don't have vertical lines. Okay, so I'll choose the first one as an example. However, I also don't want the years to have. Was there a question? I also don't want the years to have lines in between them. So I go back to that particular check or uncheck box area, and then I remove the banded rows to make it unbanded. Banded meaning that it has like lines in between them, but I don't want that. So that's an option. It's not standard. It's just an option you can use. So once I do that, it means that in between 2005 and 2007, there's no line because I've unchecked the banded rows to make it unbanded. I hope that one is clear. But to not make the total look like the 2005 and 2007, then I choose to add a total row, which is still under the. Once you click on the table, you go back there, you see total row, then you can check it. And then it gives you the total row having a line so that you know that clearly this is 5.3 million. This is 2.8 million. And that's the total. And this is 2.1. I hope that's kind of clears the question a little bit. Unless there's any other question you can ask. Questions on table? No questions? Questions. You can open your mic or you can type it in the chat box. Okay. If there are no questions, I'll move on. Now we've had our table, we've removed all the vertical lines, we've made it unbanded. The next layer of making it look very professional is making sure that the lines can be visibly seen in such a way that when I see the header row, I know it is a header row. When I see the total row, I know this is a total row. So in standard, you should have a three bolded line table, a three bolded line table. Every standard table that you draw from now on should have a three bolded line structure. How do we do that? You go to border style, just around border style, you see some lines and then you see half point and then pen color, right? So you choose 1.5 points. That's kind of a standard. You can go further, but it makes it too ugly or not beautiful. So you can use 1.5 point. When you click on the 1.5 point and then you choose the pen color, you can use black. You can use another color, but black is okay. And then you see something like a paintbrush coming on your screen. Hopefully you can see what is happening on my screen. And then you click the first line. Okay, we said a three bolded line table. So we have the second line, which is the header, and then the last, okay, So you make sure that everything, yes. And then the last part is here. So now this gives me my standard Q1 table looking like table, right? That's how I should put it. Let's give it that name. A standard Q1 table. Okay. It should not just not have vertical lines. It should not just be unbanded or banded, but we should see this clearly in the table that the header is there and then the last line of the table is also having a thicker or a bolder font than the rest of the lines. Any question on this one? Question or repeat? Which one should I do? Should I move on or repeat? Unfortunately, when I share my screen, I don't see anything else apart from my screen. So
Oh, okay.
it's
Can
Someone
more
you
of
has
repeat?
sent
an
a message
auditory.
in the chat
Can you please
box that
repeat?
we
Okay.
should repeat.
Okay, which part should I repeat? Um, okay, I undo and then I'll repeat the bolded part. I think maybe that's where I got some people lost. Okay, so we have our table like this. So far, any questions? So I know that I'm on track. Is this part clear? How to draw a table, make sure there are no vertical lines, there are no, and if you choose to make it unbounded, you can do that. If you want to add a total row, you also have that. These three parts, is it clear?
Yes.
You can draw a table. Good, thank you very much. You can draw a table. You can make all the vertical lines disappear, and then you can make some of the horizontal lines disappear, and then you create a total row. Okay, we can do this, hopefully. Good. Now we want to clearly distinguish what the header row is, and then the last line of the table to show that, okay, this is the end of my table. And to do that, we go back to the table side under design. Once the table is activated, you go to design, you see the line and the border styles. Okay, there's pen color, and then there, of course, the size. You can even choose the type of line you want to use. Okay, you can choose a dotted line to be able to outline or kind of make a finish to the table, right? But we are still using the straight normal one. The default is half point, right? So if you want to make it bolder, I'm suggesting you use 1.5 points so that it's visible that this is actually a bolded line. So you choose the 1.5 point, and then once you choose that and you choose a pen color, you see the brush sign coming up, and then you can outline the first line, the second line, and then the last line. And then we have our beautiful table like this. Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay. In the absence of question, I'll move on because I want to catch up the time. Okay, so you go back to design again, and then you have that option of choosing which table you want and all that. You can do some shading, you can color and all that. But then close to the design, which is the next column, we have layout. And I want to talk about something quickly here. We can come back to it later. But I want to talk about this part of the work. Okay, so if you see my work currently is left aligned, right? And if you want to make it centered, which should be for your work, some people choose to do it left aligned. But I want to make it centered in both directions, right? So I'll just choose the one in between here. That's the align center, and then it sorts me out. You go to layout, you see there are different types. There's top left align like this. You can do it like this. You have so many ones. But I choose to put everything in the center so that it makes my work look very nice. So you can choose this particular one. Of course, you can also use the normal center from the home tab. But that one does only the centering from this side. From the top down, it doesn't do. So you come to layout, and then you have the align center. So it centers the text horizontally and vertically within the cell. Yeah, it's said here clearly. Okay. That was just a bonus point. So if hopefully someone got that. Okay, you go to layout and then you do align center. Any question on table? I'm ending on table. Any question on table? How to insert a table and make it look professional for your paper? No questions, comments?
Okay, please. My question is, let's assume you are supposed to create, let's say you have the year 10, like from 2005 to 2010. That one I'm okay. You create more rows. But
Yeah,
with the column, let's assume you have like, you need to name all the 16 regions.
okay,
You need to provide information on all of them.
okay.
How do you do it so that it will be able to fit?
Oh, okay, I get your question. So I want to add, so immediately you come to the ending part of the table, there's a plus sign, either in the right hand side or the down side. It helps you to add rows or colors. So hopefully this one we can do it. Hopefully. Okay. So now I start adding a lot of CC regions of Ghana. So this is how it looks like. Once I start typing, yes, obviously it will start looking messy, right? So one advice I'll give you is you can transpose the table. So instead of the years going downwards, you can make it look the other way around. So the years will be moving from left to right, and then the more side will come along the screen. What do I mean? So I want to transpose my table like this. So I have, let's say, another table. Instead of this, I face the issue that was raised. So I'll rather put the locations here as Accra. This is one way of doing it. But if that doesn't also work, I have another way to show you. So the year rather will be here. And we have Kumasi. Honestly, I don't know all the 16 regions of Ghana. The one I remember is 10 regions. Okay, so let's say there's Ho. And then you keep going on. I hope at least this is clear. You can alternate it so that it makes it work for you. If still, maybe along both sides, it's still having that issue, what you can do is you have to change the page type to accommodate it. So what do I mean by that? Currently, I'm using the orientation style of portrait. If you go to layout, which we'll try and go there today, we have layout, portrait, and landscape mode, right? So currently I'm in the portrait mode, meaning that I can write more on down the page from top to down. I have more space to write. But if I want to spread the sheet across, then I can use the landscape mode so that it can fit more from the left to the right hand side. So you can switch the orientation also of the same size of paper. That's A4. Initially, I was using the portrait mode, but now I'm using the orientation mode. So it can help me to write all the 16 regions across the page and it will look very nice. That's another way of doing it. If still it doesn't fit, then you can switch from A4 to A3. That's like a larger paper. So you keep accommodating more space to be able to get that. But if you still cannot accommodate it on an A3, then I'll advise that you change the table into a figure. So I'll go back. In answering your question, the first thing you can do is transpose the table so that the longer side will go across the screen. Sorry, along the screen, yes. That's moving from top to down because you have more space in the portrait mode, right? But if you don't want the portrait mode and you don't want to transpose, then you can use the landscape mode, still A4. If it doesn't work for you, then you can increase the size of the paper and go to an A3 mode. And how to increase the size of the paper is just come to size at the layout and you can see A3 here. A3 is twice the size of A4. So if it's not fitting your A4 or the letter, then you can use the A3. So portrait, and then of course, if the portrait doesn't work, also you use the landscape. But I'm saying that if you've run out of all these options, of course, you can go to A2, but then it's too big, right? So what you can do is look at your work well and try and convert it into a figure. So it will not be a table, to rather be a figure. And of course, in the figure, we can try and have a lot of information in a small space. Hopefully, I'll be able to give you a good advice to your question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Any other question on tables? Tables, any question?
Please,
Okay.
went to tables where after clicking on the table designs, where I wanted to apply the border painter to analyze the total line and that of the top. I'll be able to do the top, but the total line, it gives me a different color.
So you can go back to pen color, and then you make sure it's still black, and then you can reapply it again. It will change the color.
Okay.
Any other question on tables? How do you turn it into a figure? Oh. Okay, so how do we turn a table into a figure? Okay, of course, there must be numbers. If there are numerics involved, so let's try and convert this into a figure. Since someone wants to convert this into a figure, let me put in some figures here. Let's say 2.3, 1.2, and also depends on your own creativity. Maybe let me put that across before I even decide to move on. 1.4. Okay, so we are doing a 3-region study from 2005 to 2008. Okay, so this was my table. Now I decided, okay, for some reason it's too much information. Somebody may not understand clearly what it is. So what I can do is I can go back to insert and still under the table side. Okay. We can insert a table, kind of using as in you are trying to import it from Excel, but maybe this may not apply. So I'll go to chart instead. Okay, so I go to chart, and then I have the bar graph, I have the line, I have the bar, everything here, right? And then I choose, let's say, the column, right, which is a bar chart, and I click OK. Okay, so once I click on chart, I see my Excel in there, and then I have my whatever category 1, 2, 3, 4. I can copy everything that is here. You can of course do this in Excel and then draw the thing and bring it here. But just for time's sake, I want to do this. So just make this Accra, Kumasi, and Koforidua, and you are done. You can decide to do a lot of edits from here. But hopefully this gives you an idea how you can turn your, hey, my totals are wrong. Okay, so since I'm in Excel, let me let it do it for me. So we'll do this in another part of the,
Can you do it?
come again?
You do what you are doing it again after, if you go to table and you want to insert, turn it into a what you have done right now.
Okay, so I'll go to insert. Please try and follow so that the repetitions are limited. Okay, and then we can cover more. Insert, and then you go to charts. No longer table, you go to charts. This one example. You can also open an Excel sheet and then put this there and then do it. But I'm feeling lazy today, so I don't want to go to Excel. I just go to charts, and then I choose which type of figure I want to draw to represent what I have. Okay, so I'm choosing column as one example. I choose column and I click OK. Once I click OK, I have a template given to me here in Excel, which is like this. Category 1, you have this there. So what do? I just copy everything that I have here in my table and put it here in Excel. Okay, and then if let me remove the total because it's wrong. So I don't have totals. Okay, I just have Accra, Kumasi, and Koforidua, and I'm done. This is my figure, and it's by all means will fit the same space that the table was denying to. You can close it after and you have your, so instead of table 1 like this, you have figure 1. Does that answer the question on how do I turn? This is one way. There are so many ways to turn a table into a figure, depending on the idea in the table. If you cannot put a table also there, of course, you can describe the table in words. That's also another way of turning the table into an idea. Okay, so usually someone asks off the bat, okay, I have a paper and maybe I want to learn from someone's paper. The person wrote it in words. You can turn it into a figure and it becomes totally different, especially for the review people. You want to write a review paper, so much text. Nobody will read this, right? So since you have decided to go that route of writing a review paper, you can turn the information that was into text into a table. ChatGPT is there, it can help you. You can get a trend in what the figure is saying and then put it, or what the text is saying, and put it in the table. If you cannot do that, you can also generate a whole different figure, which clearly describes the same text as was before. So this is just a free tip. You can change from table to equation, table to text, table to figure, a table to another type of table, depending on what you want to do. That's not the focus of the class today. So hopefully, yes, thank you very much. I hope it has solved that. So you can further customize this, give it a title, and then put the legends and everything. Just as a quick comment on a chart, usually we have some figures. I see this every time I'm reviewing a paper. Okay, so let's say population growth in Ghana. This is a title, right? And then you also have under the figure 1, population growth in Ghana. So I ask myself, is this duplication or it's emphasis? If it's not a legend, please don't put a title on the figure. It's a no-no. Title should not be in the figure. You can have a legend, but not a title. Because under this, if you've written population growth in Ghana, I don't know what you write as the caption of the figure as figure 1, right? So this is just a bonus that came. Since you are doing charts, I just wanted to put across. Your charts should not have a title. It should never have a title in the figure. Try and put a title as a caption and not as part of the figure. Is that okay?
Yeah, please, what did you click in order to have the legend? Because when I draw it, the first one change to categories. So what do you do after selecting the column for the charts to show as legend the way it should?
Okay, so you want to add a legend. You go to the plus sign on your right hand side. Whatever edit you want to do, I'm not editing this figure because it's like drawing this away. But if you want to edit this figure, then you can go to the plus sign here. There's as is title. I don't want a chart, so I'll even remove that. As is there, as is title, I can add that. Data labels, I can add it if I want to. Data table, you can do all the things. There's legend also, and then you can add legend, which is Accra, Kumasi, and Koforidua. So if it's category 1, you can quickly change it from there. And then you can edit it from the text that you give it. It will be able to help you to change. But we'll look at this when we go to Excel. So I don't want us to do that. But once you are here also, if The plus sign is not shown. You can go quickly up here. You see quick layout, and then you have different types that allow you to edit the style in here. It's too much information at once. So let's focus on this as a different thing another day. Okay. We are doing tables, so let's not add figures. It was just a question I was trying to answer. But does that help you? Or you can customize on the right hand side or at the top. You can even change the chart type to different things, like maybe a pie chart. That is not nice. So I'll go back to my bar charts. Okay, tables done, right? So we say bye-bye to tables.
Yes, of course.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, bye-bye. And everyone will draw nice tables. Hopefully, if your paper comes to my desk, I'll not reject your paper because of your table. Okay, all right. So that being said, let's move on to something more interesting than tables. Still on the Reset tab, we have pictures, right? So we can insert some images from your own desktop, right? Or you can go online and decide to get some pictures that match the theme of what you are saying. So today I'm being generous a little bit. Let's go to online pictures. So your browser will load. Yes, is
I'll
there a
be
question?
charging my phone soon.
Where is my phone?
Okay, so I want to use Apple. Of course, you can search something else and then
No, so
the
it can
picture
stay
will
a
come.
little while. When I'm done with this, I'll charge it. Okay.
Please turn off your microphone.
Someone should kindly mute. Okay, so I'm choosing Apple, and then everything here is under Creative Commons, so you can use it. Which of the Apple should we choose? I don't want to choose the branded ones because we have copyright issues later. So let me choose a normal Apple here. Let's say this one. Okay, and I insert it. This is my figure. Perhaps I'm talking about apples. Okay, so how do we format a figure? Okay, so we'll use this opportunity to look at this. I can remove the background, which gives me this option at the top. So I don't want the background, I can remove it. So what do I do? Once I click that, it asks you two questions. Which of the parts of the figure do you want? You click on it, and which one do you want to remove? So let's say I want to keep the apple itself. So I'll click on that plus sign and then click on the apple. Then I say keep changes. Once I keep changes, the background is gone and I have only my apple. So that's remove background. If I want to correct the apple, make it look different ways that I want it, then I can choose the brightness, the contrast. It's for graphic designers. Okay. But of course, you can also use it. You can also change the color of the apple. Today, I feel like doing blue, so I choose blue apple. Okay. You can also do artistic effects, make your apple look more artistic, right? So let's choose this one. You can also compress a picture if you want to, and then you can change the picture. You don't want this picture again. I can change it to something else. Okay, so I have my little formatting there. Now I want to put some borders around my figure. This thing is never looking nice to me, but maybe in PowerPoint, right, you may need this. But let's see, let me go for one that looks a little nice. I don't know why you should use this in Word, but just in case you need it, you can choose one of them. Okay. If I don't want the very thick one, I can create my own border. So I go to picture border here. I choose a black border. I can increase the font size, the thickness of it and all that. So once I click on border, I've chosen black, or let me choose, yeah, black. Then I'll go to weight. So let me make it a little thicker so everyone can see where the border is. So I am making this border 3, or let's say 2.25. And then I can also decide which type of border it should be. This applies in PPT as well. And then, yeah, you can also decide no outline. I just want my apple like this. Okay, so that's just some of the features you can use. You can also look at the layout of the picture, put some text here. You can explore this one, okay? And depending on how you want your figure to look like. Okay. Then we go to the very right side of the tab. We see some numbers here, okay? This is very important and sometimes may distort the information in your figure. Let's say I want to make this figure smaller. What would you normally do? Anyone? I want to make it smaller. Anyone?
What we
I want
normally
to make
do
the
is to click the border around it and then try to pull it either to the left, to the right, or like top
like
to the
this.
yeah. Yes, please.
Yes, good. That's a very smart way to do it. But it may also create what we call a distorted image. Okay. So because every image has an aspect ratio, the height to weight ratio, right? So it's kept as a format when you imported it. So if you don't want to lose that formatting, instead of just dragging, usually some people do it this way even, the left and right. Okay. That one is not good at all, right? But even if you do the corners, it's better. It sometimes can keep it. The preserve the formatting. The left and right is not good, as well as the up and down is also not good. The corners, it's permittable, right? But just to be on the safer side, you can just come to the width, shape width, and then the shape height here. And then you just use the up and down buttons, right? And then you are sure that whatever image you have, once you make it like this, the aspect ratio is kept. And then if you put it back, it's still not distorted. Okay, so instead of us dragging like this, and then you're using your own eyes to judge if I am papa or not, or that is if it is okay now. No, don't do that. If you are still tempted, just use the corners to drag it in and out, right? The corners, it can be any of the corners. But the more professional way is that you use the arrow buttons here, and that will help you to reduce the size of the image as well as keeping or preserving its formatting. Any question? Any question? No questions. Okay, now let's look at these last two things, and then hopefully that should end the class for the first part of the section. Sorry. So we look at position. Okay, so let's say I am describing this apple. Okay, so this is an apple. Okay, I can put the text in so many positions, right? So I go back here. I can choose the figure should be in line with the text. It can be position it beneath the text. It can be at the top center of the text. It can be, so different positions, depending on what favors you, you can use that to wrap, we call it wrapping the text around the image. Okay, or that's the position of then the text, and then you can also wrap the position of the image, and then you can wrap the text in line with the image, sorry. So you can do it in line with text, you can do square, you can do tight. Okay, let me go back. Maybe have a lot of text. Okay, something like this, and then I have this here. So I copy and then paste again. Is there a question? Okay. So this is my figure. Now I want to let's choose one option like behind the text. So let's say if I'm typing a lot of English, it's you see I can draw the apple across the figure, right? And it's kind of like looking like a background. I have that option here. And sometimes if I want to make it through the text, this is what happens. If I want to do in front of the text, move with the text and all that. So you can use it in line with what makes it very applicable to you. Okay, sometimes you need to do some of those things. Okay, I think that should be enough for this particular function, inserting of pictures. We can also insert shapes. Okay, so I can insert a shape like a triangle. I can draw my triangle here and all those other shapes. And then you can fill in different types of colors and all that. Let's not waste time in this part. I think it's very easy to fill in the shapes. You can also use icons. Okay, so depending on what you are doing, you want to show the focus. Let's say this one, I want to write focus of the study. I can do this, something about focus. So I can say focus of, is it focus or focus? Anyway, focus of the study. Yeah, so something like this, and then just to show some icons in the work. Okay, that's if what you are writing needs icons. You can also reduce the size of the image, and then you can as well customize, wrap, inline, in front, move with the text, something like this. Okay, so that's also something you can do. 3D model, smart art. Okay, so smart art is something we can use, but a lot of people choose to ignore it and do everything from scratch. So let's say I want to draw a conceptual framework for the business guys. You can use a smart art immediately. I want to draw a flow chart, a very simple one. I can use the smart art option to give me that. So I just come to which type of option may work for me. So if I look at this, I have or I can go to list. I want to list something. So maybe step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, what do I do? The first step, step 1, maybe is research design, right? This is one way of also changing text into image. Step 2, what do? I collect the data, collection of data. Okay, instead of writing all this in the whole paragraph, you can just put it here. I analyze the data. So data analysis. Yeah. So you can do this quickly and then put it here. You can change the formatting as well. You don't like blue, you want to change the color. Just go to design, change color, use the primary color, something like this. You can change whatever you want to change. Any question? Smart art. So let's try and explore the smart art also. It helps us to make a lot of art into our work. But please don't overdo the art, okay? Else it becomes something non-academic, but more artistic. Any question? We would have a short break, 5 minutes, and then we'll come back at 7:05 if there's no question. Are there any questions?
Yes, kindly go to where did you get a box where did they get a chat from? Is that smart ad? Kindly
Yes,
touch on it
smart art. So
again.
you go to insert. Go to
Mm.
insert. You see smart art. For me, it's under my 3D models. It's under illustrations, close to shapes. Shape smart art. So you choose smart art, and then you have a whole list of options: list, process, cycle, hierarchy, relationship, matrix, pyramid. You can choose so many options from here. And then what I chose was a list, and I chose the vertical box list. I can choose another one also here.
Okay.
Or I can change this one into another form, which is reset graphic. Oh no, not reset graphic. I want to change the whole thing. Okay. So what I did here, I can put it here, depending on what you want to do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you can also move. Once you click on it, you can go back here and then change it to this one. Now I want to use this one. Okay, it's not nice. Okay, I change to this one. Okay, this one too is not nice. I go back here, or I go here, or yeah. So you keep playing the one that you want, and then, oh, I choose this one. Maybe reset design, I want to talk about it. So we blah blah blah, collection of data, we did this, we did this. So this can help you to keep a lot of text in one place, especially when the journal has said 7,000 to 8,000 words. You know that it cannot count the text in the image. It's not part, right? So you can type a whole 1,000 word in one figure, and that will help you enter into that Q1 journal. Okay, so let's try it and also look at it from different ways. Sometimes you can keep so much information in one figure instead of typing and making it look too long. So let's explore the smart art option. It's very professional, and then you can use it in your PowerPoint presentations as well. Any other question? Any other question? Insert. We've done tables, we've done some figures and a chart. You can do screenshots and all that. But moving on, we'll skip everything and come to how to link some text. So any question? If not, we'll go on the 5-minute break.
It's like today you are always on you are not looking for your daughters, the mark people.
No, it will draw me back. I said that in the beginning of the class. We can't do anything if we start to look at both systems. So try and follow with the Windows, and then maybe later you can look at it. Because if you have an issue, I can solve it for you. That's why I don't want us to go there at all. But you can learn from the experience here. At least you know what is smart art. So you can look for it quickly online. How do I find my smart art on a MacBook? Then you
I've
know how to
already
move from there. Good. So let's learn the terms from here. Then it's quite similar. You can apply it on any system. But the idea is getting the basic, the knowledge, and then you can use it. If I should do Mac here and I should do a Linux system, we'll not finish anything in 2 hours. So forgive me for that, but it's intentional. Okay, so we'll have a 5-minute break. We'll come back at 7:10. Let's have a short break. All right, so we are back from the break. Let's continue. Stop sharing first. Okay, so we want to do the real business of formatting. Let's try and insert page numbers. This is kind of a recap of what we did last time. So to insert page numbers, you go to insert, then you have your page numbers. I choose to use the bottom of the page. You can use different page numbers, positions. The top, bottom, it's okay. Page margin, bottom is okay. So I choose the center one, and then I have my page numbers like this. This one is very simple. I have page one. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, so page numbers. We are inserting page numbers. Any question so far? Please don't let me finish before you ask me to go back. It may be very difficult because we are building gradually. So I have page one, page two, page three. Any question on page numbers? Any question or is it clear? Can we all insert page numbers?
Where did you go?
Insert, then you go to page numbers. Insert, still on the insert tab, you see page numbers here under header and footer part. You can choose which side of the document you want to insert, and then you have the page numbers inserted like I have done now. So you have page one, page two, page three. Any question on this side? Okay, so we can all insert page numbers. Now, let's look at the header part of our work. Okay, so I want to put in a header in my work, right? What do I do? Let's say the header of my work is, for example, any university here, I can use your university. I don't want copyright issues. But any university here, university, name of the university, that's what I'm asking.
Chingwa.
Tsinghua, okay.
What is
So I
that?
have Tsinghua. Okay. So we have Tsinghua University. Hopefully Tsinghua will not sue me for mentioning their name here. Okay. So I have Tsinghua University as the header of all my pages. Once I insert this header at the beginning, it will apply to all my pages. Then maybe let's make it centered. So if you go through whatever format I want to, let's say I want to bold it, it will be bolded on all the 13 pages that I have. Is this one clear? And then you realize that the footer has all the numbers that the footer is the down part of the work. And then the top part, the header has Tsinghua University. Can we all do this one? hopefully I'll advise that we do it together, or you can watch closely on my screen. We can insert page number at the footer side. You can, of course, put it at the header, but I'm putting it at the footer because I want another header. And then Tsinghua University is on all my pages. Is this one clear, or there's a question? Yes, no, any of them, I'll still want to hear it, if there's a question or not, so I
Please,
can move on.
how will all the university name appear on all the pages? Because I have two
Yes,
pages, but it's showing only on my
on your first page.
yes, please.
Okay, so ideally it should be on all the pages, because once you apply it on the first page, it will apply to all the other pages, unless you have done a certain kind of special formatting, then it will not apply on the next page. But we'll go into that a little bit in a moment, right? So, but ideally it should be like this. Once you have not done any form of formatting, then it should appear just as I'm showing it. If it's appearing differently on your side, I'll explain why it's like that. But if you have two pages, you should have Tsinghua University on all of them. Okay, no extra formatting has been done. It's like this. Okay, so as we are going, I'll try and put in where I'm doing some changes and then what is making that change and all that. Okay, so we cannot
Please,
have
it has
all.
appeared. It has appeared.
Okay, great. So maybe yes, you can have all the documents having the same footer or same header. You want this, fine. But for us who are writing thesis, for example, it's not like this. Usually there's something chapter one at some place, there's some chapter two at some place, and then at some point there's a school name, yes, appearing at different sides of the header, right? So we want to know when to customize and how to customize those things. Okay. So the first thing I want to emphasize here is that if you want to change a chapter, okay. So if you want to move from, let's say, abstract to introduction, or from introduction to literature review, or from literature review to another chapter, you must always start on an odd numbered page. Every time you want to move to a different chapter, make sure that you are starting on an odd numbered page. Odd number being 1, 3, 5, any number that is not divisible by 2 without a remainder, okay? Or any number that is divisible by 2 with a remainder is an odd number, yes. So if you want to move, let's say, from chapter 1 to chapter 2, then make sure that the chapter 1 is starting from an odd number page, and the chapter 2 is also starting from an odd number page. Is this one clear? You should have this rule at the back of your mind. No new chapter should start on an even numbered page. Is this part clear? Okay. If it's clear, I'm hoping it's clear.
Any reason behind
Yes,
that?
sir.
Any reason behind
Any
that?
reason behind
Okay, a moment. Let me reach out for a sheet of paper and I'll demonstrate why. Can you all hear and can you see my little book? Please look at my video now. Maybe I'll try to demonstrate. Can you all see my book? Hello.
No, it keeps you. Your background is actually the one appearing.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, so let me remove my background. Oh, I'm trying to demonstrate in an offline session. Okay, let me stop sharing. Let me see. Okay, let me remove my. How do you even do this? A minute. Okay, not blur background. Is the other one? Mm-mm-mm. Oops. Okay, none. Okay, can you see me? Sorry for this part of the video, but you can see my book. Can you see the book? 2020, 2025, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So this part, in terms of numbering, this part is an odd numbered page. The first page of the cover of your thesis is an odd number. Let's say it's number 1. If I open it like this, here is number 2. Okay, this side of the work is number 2. So here is number 3. Would you want to start writing from number 2 or number 3? Tell me. When you open the page, when you open the book, here is number 1. The blue side is number 1. When you open the page, here is number 2. Here is number 3. So is it formal, or do you think it's nice if you start on number 2 or number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3, good. So that's the reason why we start on an odd number page. Let's say even here is no number. Here is also no number. Here will be number 1, right? Here will be number 1. So every time you are starting a chapter 1, so it should be here, chapter 1. Then, okay, ignore all my text. Here is the first page is page 1, chapter 1. Here is number 2, right? Here is page 3. So every time I flip the left-hand side, it's not good to start something new there. So if you've written everything and then you get to an even number page and you want to start something, you leave that even number page and start on the odd number page because of printing issues. So the answer is we use the odd numbers because it looks nicer, it looks more formal, and it looks like, yes, you put some thought in the work when you were doing the arrangement, because we want that when we flip the page, we don't look to our left, we look automatically to our right. It's normal. Every human being, once you flip the page, unless you are looking for something on this other page, default, when you flip the page, you look at what is in front of you, and what is in front of you is usually the odd number page. So it's good to catch the attention from there. I don't know if that answers the question. So we start on an odd number page every new chapter. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yes,
Good.
it's okay.
All right. So I'll go back to my, thank you. Okay, so now I can share my screen. So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 would be on the odd number page. Same for abstract, same for every new thing. Okay. If it's you are tempted to start on an even number page, leave that even number page empty, blank. So usually if you see a full thesis on the and it's online on the even number page, you see that page intentionally left blank. I don't know if any of you have seen that before. Page intentionally left blank. You see it on the even number page. It's because of this reason. We leave it there because we want everything to look nice. Start on a fresh page. Yeah, something like that. But a fresh page, now we want to change that idiom to start on an odd number page. Hope that's clear with everyone. Okay. Gift, you have a question, you can go ahead.
Please, I wanted to know if I'm not printing the work, does the principle still stand?
Still holds. That's why I said on the online version, you see that it's even compulsory, you put it there. Page left intentionally blank on the even number page. It holds whether you are printing or not printing. If you are printing, you don't need to write page intentionally left blank. If it's online, You must put it there. Be professional. If you don't put it there, no problem. But make sure that the blank page is on the even number page. But if you want to go a step further to tell us that you didn't miss that blank page by mistake, you write page intentionally left blank at the even number page. Formatting things, please. Let's take note. Okay. Any other questions? Let me check the chat box. What of
Doc
writing a
question.
manuscript? No, it doesn't apply to manuscript. It doesn't apply to manuscript at all. It's just for thesis. Okay, we are doing both of them at the same time, so it doesn't apply to manuscript. This is specifically
It
for,
does also apply to proposal also.
yes, proposal. Any long document, which article is not supposed to be part. Any long document, proposal, thesis, grant application, any long document, try and keep this. They are not rules, but they are rules, okay? It just makes whoever or the reviewer who picks up that document know that you put in some effort of seriousness, right, to do the formatting. And then perhaps your content is also good because anyone who wastes time, in quotes, waste time or use all their time to do proper formatting, then it's like the work you are saying is also very good, right? You can have a lot of great content, but when the formatting is not done well, my professor will say that it shows your attitude towards the work, right? So the dots are not there, the double spacing, we don't see it well. The formatting is the first thing, right? You can have a Q1 paper that will be rejected, and I'll just look at your paper. I'll not change any single word. We just reformat it, and it will go through just because of formatting. Just because of formatting. That's why we are wasting or we are spending, let me not say waste. We are spending a lot of time to emphasize on the little things, and they are all based on formatting. I've seen it several times happening. Sometimes I have to reject the papers because of these issues. It's just unfortunate, right? But you cannot help the person beyond this because you can see that the work was not proofread, it was not, yes. Okay, so we'll move on if there are no questions. Okay. We can insert page, we can insert a header, we can insert a footer. This one is at the insert part. Good. Now we want to make every odd numbered page numbered, right? We want to see the number on the odd number page. Every even number, no show. We don't want to see the numbers there. Who can tell me how we do it? I only want to number the odd number pages. No even number should be. So let me share my screen. Who can help me or who has an idea what I should do? So I want to see page 1, but I don't want to see page 2. I mean, I don't want to see 2 at the bottom. What can I do? Anyone has an idea? We did this last week, but just for those who are not here. Anyone? I want to number only my odd numbered pages. No even number I don't want to see an even number in my work. It's also a form of editing or formatting. Anyone has an idea? No one. Okay. So you go back to insert page numbers, or you just go to design after you have done the page numbers. And then you can see at the option side where my arrow is kind of at the moment, you see different first page. Different first page is unchecked. That is blank. I'll talk about that in a minute. You can see different odd and even pages. Do we all see that? You can see it on my screen or on your machine, on your laptop or
Yes,
computer.
yes.
Good.
Yes, we can
So
see.
when I check the different odd and even pages, that's what will help me to do what I just said. So you see that page 1 is there, but page 2, oh, no number. Oh, but then there's page 3. What is this guy doing? Page 4, no number. Oh, before the person realizes that, okay, I'm just numbering only the odd numbered pages. And then, so it's a style. You can do this. But please, for thesis, don't do this before the reviewer thinks that this guy doesn't know formatting. Okay, just keep all the numbers showing, because if the person doesn't see the consistency to realize that, oh, it's a style you are adopting, different odd number pages. But in some cases it works, like a storybook. Okay, usually they don't do the even number pages, they don't number it, just like a style. Okay, and if it's, well, a demand of your school that you know how to do it now, you can turn it off by just a check. Okay, but when I remove it, then it means that I have my even numbers showing. I've intentionally split my work into 2 pages so that we can see at the same time. I don't want to scroll up and down. Okay, so pardon me for that. Is this one clear? I want to hide all even numbered pages by just checking this particular thing. Okay. Okay. All right.
So you go to
Now
design, let me go.
you go to
When you go to
design,
design, let me go.
options. Under design, you see options. There is header and footer, insert, navigation, options. Do you see options? Options. Options. Let me annotate my own. Here, this side. If you can see it on my screen, this side. Can we all see it?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right, thank you very much for the confirmation. So let me clear our drawings. Yes, so at that side, you can take the different odd number page and then you hide the even number pages. And then when you make it, you uncheck it back, you have everything as default. Hope I've not lost anyone so far. We are still together in this. Okay, now I want to start the numbering in such a way that, or how to number my page in such a way that my first page, I don't want to show a number. Maybe it's a cover page, right? We've written, this is a thesis submitted to Tsinghua University, in partial fulfillment for a master's or PhD thesis, copyright 2026, March, no, June, when do we usually graduate? June, yes, June 2026, facilitator or supervisor under the supervision of Department of, yes, that's the first page. So you don't want to number it. What do? You just click on the different first page and then that will go away. The first number will go away. Number one is not there again because maybe it's a thesis title. Is this part clear? Different first page, meaning that I don't want to number the first page for a particular reason. I don't want to show the number there. So just check that part and you are good to go. Question, no question, move on, don't move on, repeat. Please, all of them, let it come. Different first page, are we clear on that?
Yes.
Wow, only one person.
Yes, some of us are lost, so.
Oh, sorry,
Yes,
much
we are.
users. Don't forgive me. You can watch the video later and then try and adapt to the mark. Okay. I saw a hand up, Imrana. Oh, someone raised their hand. Someone raised their hand. You can go ahead and ask the question or give a comment if.
The person lowered it. Maybe he or she is okay, so we can continue.
Okay, thank you. So different first page, it's sorted out. Okay, now I'll check that because I want to see my first page. Okay, so now we want to create the chapters. Okay, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. I want to have the abstract, I want to have the appendix, I want to have the table of content, I want to have table of tables or list of tables, list of figures, equations, and all that. Okay, so every section of my paper in this part, the thesis, would have a different header. Okay, so for example, the first page, let's say it does not have Tsinghua University. It should be empty. Okay, let's imagine it's not so. So let's delete everything. Once we delete the header of the first page, everything is gone. I don't want Tsinghua University on the first page. So let me type a thesis submitted to a university in partial fulfillment. We all know this one, right? Let's assume this is my first page. Okay, it has a lot of text here. And then I'm not also numbering it. I don't want to number it. So different first page is what I'll click. Now I come to the second page where I need to show, for example, the Tsinghua. Okay. So what I would do is, before I go there, I would go to layout. Okay. Layout is another tab. Go to page break or breaks, and then you do next page. The layout tab, next page after the text, right? So you have something like this. If my paragraph is on, you see a line like this after my text, which says that section break, next page. That's layout, section break, and then you do next page. Any question? Layout, breaks, next page. Why am I doing a break? I don't want the formatting of what is before to affect whatever is coming after the page break. The formatting before should have its own formatting. The formatting after the page break should have its own formatting. Okay. So I insert a page break. Now, if I click the empty space above, which is the header section, you realize that it's now first page header section 1, and then now we have first page header section 2. Now, it's not the same section. Section 1 is different from section 2. So now if I type Tsinghua here, even though it's appearing, there are two different sections. So what will I do? I'll come here, still on layout, right? And then I click on this particular header. You can make it same as previous, or you can make it a different particular header. Okay, so we don't want the headers to be the same. I want to insert a new header. That's what I want to do. So I'll come here, edit header. And then you can see link to previous. Tsinghua University should not appear on the first page. So if I link it to the previous page, what I'll have is both of them having Tsinghua University, but I don't want that to happen. So I want to create a different header system on the second page. So I'll uncheck this one, or I'll click on the link to previous so that it deactivates. So if I click on the link to previous, what happens is this. I can delete the first header on the first page and it will go away, but then the Tsinghua University still stays on the second page. Okay, I'll repeat that side. I have Tsinghua University on the first page and on the second page. What I'll do is, I don't want it to be on the first page. So I'll go back here. Initially, it was linked to previous. I can click it. Okay, so now I've linked it to previous, meaning that Tsinghua University header on the first page is the same as the Tsinghua University header on the second page, right? They are the same. So if you make any change on one, the other will also have that same change. Let's say I make a Tsinghua University system. Once I start typing, the system will also appear on the other one, right? But to make a change, let me make this. So I'll go on the second page, right? And then you see that there's link to previous. Deactivate that. Once I deactivate that, I can make the second one Tsinghua University System address. And then I still have the Tsinghua University System on the first page because now the two of the headers are not the same. They are not linked anymore. It's like I've separated the two of them. So the header on the first page is very different from the header on the second page. There are two different headers. And this is how we approach every chapter. So chapter 1 would be different from chapter 2, and it will not be the same chapter running throughout the system. So they are linked together. Every header and footer is linked to the previous one. So once you remove the link, then you can create a new one. Once you remove the link, you create a new one. Once you remove the link, you create a new one. Once you link them back, then it means you are using the same formatting as the one before. Is it okay? Or let's say it's not Tsinghua University System. Let's say it's chapter 1, right? So it will be a little more intuitive. There's chapter 1 here on the first page. This is what I have as before. If I highlight this and I try to edit it, okay. What I'm trying to do now is I want the same thing. So you see that the Tsinghua University System address will automatically change to chapter 1 if I link them. Now it's not linked. Link to previous is not highlighted, so it's not linked. So if I link to previous immediately, ask me, do you want to delete this header or footer and connect it to the header in the previous session? Yes. I want them to be the same. So I'll say yes. Once I do that, chapter 1 will appear on both pages. This is what I want. Chapter 1 appear on both pages. But let's say I go to page 3, which is also different system, right? Because I've created a page break. Or let's say here, still here. I don't want page 1 and page 2 to have the same chapter system or same header as chapter 1. So I'll just highlight it and then remove the link to previous so I can make it chapter 2 like this. So now when I make a chapter 2, it's different things. Chapter 1 is different from chapter 2. I can even make it chapter 3, chapter 5, chapter 4, and it won't affect the chapter system of the one before. So before you make this kind of changes, it's advisable to do a page break. Then now you highlight on the header you are using, and then you unlink it. Make sure the link to previous is deactivated, and then now you can make that new chapter. Any questions so far? Any question?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Before I ask my question, I want to notify the house that there is a code in the chat room. So they should kindly sign for us for the attendance. So anyone who has not filled in the attendance can do so. All right, Prof.
Yes.
So on your screen, what I'm seeing session break, but you keep mentioning page break, so I'm a bit confused.
Oh, okay.
Because the break here, I can see session break. Okay.
Okay.
And the next question is, let's say now we have chapter 1 and chapter 4. One on the first page, one on the second page. So assuming you want the chapter 1 to be on all the even numbers and the chapter 4 to be on all the odd numbers.
All the odd numbers.
Yeah, how are you going to do it? Is it that you have to do it one by one, or there is a way you can do it once?
Okay, so I'll answer both questions. Let me tackle the first one. Yes, I keep saying page break, page break, page break because I'm actually doing a page break, but it's actually session break because sometimes you can do the different formatting on the same page, but here you can see it's totally a different page. So let's say a section page is section page, but the section page can be on the same page or on a different page. In this case, I'm doing it on a different page. That's why I keep saying page break. So pardon my language, but yes, technically it's a section break. If you go under layout, you see that, yes, it's breaks, and then you see session breaks. Okay, so breaks. There's next page, there's continuous, which we'll do that maybe another time tomorrow. Yes, but or the next class we'll do continuous. But now let's do page break in the sense that it's on the next page. So let me call it a next page break. Okay, so first of all, we do that section break, and then we do the link and then on link to previous or link to previous. Then you'll get the different formatting happening. Okay, so Sabonso asked a very good question. Now you can see that on page 3, page 4, they all have empty ones. So what do? If I want all my odd numbered pages to be chapter 1, all my even pages to be chapter 2. Let's make it chapter 2. I think that was the second question. So once again, I'll do my page break. Oh, sorry, my section break. You realize that once I do the section break, it gives me chapter 2 here on this one is the odd numbered page, right? Here, the odd numbered page is on the left. So what do I have to do? I don't want it to be chapter 2, according to Mr. Bonsu's system. So I'll just go here again. It's linked to previous, so I'll unlink it again, right? And make sure that here is chapter 1. And then I can copy this one again here as chapter 2. But I must make sure they are not the same. So what will I do? Okay, so now I have chapter 1, chapter 2. I have chapter 1, and all the rest is chapter 1 because I've linked it to the previous one, which is chapter 1. The very current one is chapter 2. So if I'm linking it to the previous one is chapter 1. So if I come here, what I can do is here also, I'll say, don't link it to previous, and then make it chapter 2. And then I have the same thing here again. I don't know if I've answered the question. Hopefully I didn't answer the question. Or I answered it. Mr. Bonsu, did I answer your question? So we have chapter 1,
Well,
chapter 2.
yes, you've answered the question, which means let's say per what you've done, that means you have to do the other page, the other chapter manually, like one by one. Because for instance, you kept the chapter 1 throughout, so you are now editing the even numbers as chapter 2, whereby
Yes.
you did it manually. That means,
Yes.
yeah,
You also
okay.
want to automate the system. Is that what you want to do? You want to automate it?
Yeah, that's what I was
Where
trying to find out. If it's possible
yeah,
that you
it is
can do
possible. It's
the
very
even
possible.
numbers the same way.
Okay, so just not to confuse the class, let's just finish this one and then we can do that one later. Okay, so the whole aim of what I'm trying to do within this section is that if you want to create a new chapter, make sure you unlink it. If this one is clear, then I can build on gradually.
Yes, it's very clear.
Very clear. Okay. And every time, as much as possible, if you are going to a new chapter, put in a section break so that there's a reason. It will help you, especially with your footers when you are changing the page numbers. Okay. So if this one is clear, let's advance. Okay. So I have my, oops. Page numbers are missing. Let me put it back. Okay, I have my page number, different first page. Okay. Okay. So now let's say that the beginning has no number, but I want to put a page number on page 2. But that page number is not number 2. It's the I in Roman numerals. And your I will usually start from your abstract. Anything before the abstract has no number, has no number. The page has no number. So you can start your numbering from the abstract, whether Chinese or English version or whichever country you are using, or you're having your master's or PhD in. The numbering will start from that part's abstract. So let's say that here is my abstract. And this tab thing keeps interfering. Okay. So here is not chapter 1. It's something in the beginning. And then let's say my abstract is starting from here. Okay. So I ask the question, am I right to start my abstract on page number 2?
No, page number 3.
Good. So here I'll leave it blank. It shouldn't have my abstract because it's an even number page. So I'll have my abstract here. And this is where I should start my numbering from. So you go to page number. So here should be I, the Roman numeral I, whether capital or small I. Yes, Roman numeral. So you go to page number, then you format page number. So at format page number, you have number format being 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, and all that. So I'm looking for I, the capital I. And then I'll not continue from previous section. I'm not continuing from previous section. I'm starting at 1, which is the I. So you do start at I, and then you click OK. So my page number for this one is I, because I did different page. First different page is not showing. Okay, so once I remove that, it comes. Okay, so my abstract is starting from here. Here is abstract. Why is it? Okay, so let me check. Not linked to previous. Here is abstract. Okay, so everything here is abstract, 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 but it's starting from I. Let's say you have the Chinese abstract here on page 3, which is now my I. You've written it, maybe now they say this word, 2,000 to 5,000 characters. So your Chinese abstract is here. Maybe it's 2 pages, Chinese abstract. That's your abstract in Chinese language. Or if it's another country, that's not English, you will have to state that. So the Chinese abstract is here. You've written it all the way here. Let's say on the second page here. Okay. Now I want to go to a different kind of abstract, which is the English abstract. So I'll do the section break again to the next page. And then here I would write, let's say English abstract, so that we get a difference. English abstract, and it is not linked to the previous one. So the Chinese one is Chinese abstract, or let's just call it abstract. And then here is English abstract. Okay. So before we write the English abstract, I must ask myself, in the old system of numbering, is this odd or even? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's page 5. So I can start from here. So I can start my English abstract from here and then keep writing. I write maybe so many words. It goes. And then let's say it ends here. This is the end of my English abstract. Right? I'm still in the Roman numeral system. So end of English abstract is here. It's ending on an odd number page. I cannot start something on the even number page. So I'll make it blank. Right? So I'll come here and then delete. Oh, this is not linked to previous. This one is linked to previous. No. Wait, we have 1, 2. Okay, here is 3. Sorry. So I can quickly edit it from here as page number, format numbers. I'm not starting, I'm continuing. So it will be 3, 4, yes, like that. And then I'm ending it here as my end of English abstract. So here should be, why is it not linked? Something is wrong. Okay. So abstract, abstract, Chinese abstract. I started here. English abstract is not same as previous. Moment. Wait, let me check everything again. I think I made a mistake. Okay, here is empty, empty. Section 3, section 3, section 4, section 4. Section 4, and I'm ending section 4 here. So I want to go to section 5. No. Okay, so it's a page break here. Another one here. Okay, so page break is my problem. I didn't put a section break. So once I do that, now I want to, let's say, write table of content here. It's not linked to, I have to unlink it first. Okay, so I type table of contents to create a new section, and everything here moving on will be table of content. This is supposed to be 4. We go back to page number, format page number, and it's 4, continue from previous section. Okay. So table of contents is still keeping on the Roman numeral system. Format page number, continue. So it's still keeping the whole thing. Let's say your table of contents keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, and then I end somewhere here. So what I have to do first is put my page break or my section break, next page. And then now I would highlight this, not link it. It's not linked. Maybe that will be list of figures, right? So the list of figures keeps continuing and I keep going, keep going, keep going. And then let's say I'm here. Before I come here, what I need to do is to put the break again. And then now I can unlink this particular one. Don't link it to previous. Now I have list of tables or table of tables. And I keep going like that. So before I do a new one, I must always have my section break and then I'll unlink it. So list of tables is also like this. Before I change this one, it means I must have a section break on the page before it. So on that page, I have next page, and then I do this. I unlink it. Then I have, let's say, abbreviations. For example, it's still all in the Roman numeral system. right? So let's say we have everything here. We are ending here, okay? Let's say our abbreviations took 2 pages. Now I want to go to the real work, which is introduction, chapter 1. That's where I'll start numbering from page 1. 1 as in the Arabic numeral 1. So here again, once again, I'll do layout, breaks, next page. Then I'll highlight the abbreviations that is there, unlink it first, and then I'll write chapter 1. Okay, now here is saying XVII. I don't want this. I want number 1. So I'll go to page number, format page number, and then I'll say start at 1. And then I'll make sure that it's now in the numbering system of the Arabic. So I have 1. So I have page 1, chapter 1. Then I keep writing my thing. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. All right. Now I have chapter 1, but moving forward, try to answer Mr. Bonsu's question. In some schools, chapter 1, and then the next page is the name of the school. Then chapter 1 again, then the name of the school, chapter 1, the name of the school. So to do that, first thing I'll need to do is just put my break, next page, and then I have here being the university school, the university's name being, no, I didn't unlink it first. So I have to unlink it, and then I have Tsinghua. Okay, so I keep going. Okay, here is page 2, not 1. So I'm not linking it to, I'm linking it to previous, but the page number is 2. So format page number and then continue with previous session. So here should be the same as chapter 1. So I have chapter 1 here. And then here is supposed to be chapter 1. So I'll create another layout. This is chapter 1. Here will be Tsinghua University. So I'll create another break. Next page. On link. And then here will be Tsinghua University. Any questions so far? Maybe
But
I
please,
just
the pages are still 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yes, we also have 3 and 4 here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. So I'm moving on. Chapter 1, Tsinghua University, chapter 1, Tsinghua University. That's what I'll be doing. Moving on. So I'll link to previous. It will become chapter 1. Then I have more pages still being chapter 1. So you can keep repeating that. Let's say here it's an even number page. So I'll stop here in chapter 1. What I'll do is I'll go and start chapter 2 on the left-hand side. So layout, the break, you unlink it, and then you make it chapter 2. Okay, so chapter 2 is starting at page 7. Chapter 2 here is previous, not chapter 1. So chapter 2 should also have the Tsinghua, right? So I go back. And then I have my next page. Okay, so as a recap, I've hinted to the time, but just 2 more minutes and I'll close. First page, not numbered, and that's the cover page we have. The second page was also not numbered. We decided that something else can be there, and all those parts you don't number it. Anything before the abstract is not numbered. Then we go to the abstract, which is starting on an odd number page, and the abstract is starting with Roman numerals. You can use the uppercase Roman numerals or the lowercase Roman numerals. To go to a new chapter, the first thing you need to do is go to layout and then do the section break before the page that the chapter starts. And then when you are at that chapter, you go to the header, highlight the header, and then link to previous, you click on that so that it's not highlighted again. Then you can create a new one. And that's the format we've used throughout, making sure that we are starting a new chapter on an odd number page. That's the whole system we have been doing throughout this. Anything before the chapter 1 is still in the Roman numerals numbering. List of figures, tables, and all that is still the Roman numerals. Then we got to the part where we are starting the chapter 1 on an odd number page, and that's where we'll start the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and it keeps going that way. We have moved from chapter 1, we want to go to chapter 2. So what we did was you put the layout section break on link, and then you write your chapter 2. And then chapter 2 also has its own way, the name of the school, and then that's all. So you also do the same thing, and then you keep doing it manually until you are done with the work. Any questions so far?
Hello, Prof.
Yes.
Okay, so my question is now from the first page, before we move to the abstract, it was an even number. So we said we should leave that page in order to start the abstract an odd number. So in that case, that empty sheet, assuming you don't have anything to write there, what are you going to do with it?
Just leave it empty. Don't write anything there. It's empty. Just leave the page empty.
And
That's
is it
the
acceptable?
one. Yes, very acceptable. Or you can write this: page intentionally left blank. If you want to be extra careful, so to avoid a river from there, you can write this and it's acceptable. You can italize it like this and it will look very formal. Page intentionally left blank. And every teacher who knows this will know that you know what you are doing.
Okay.
Yes, so this is it. I'm making it one page now so that you see how it looks like. So this is the first page. You wrote a lot of things. We didn't number those pages. Page intentionally left blank. Chinese abstract. Abstract. You can also, once the abstract starts, you start with the Roman numerals. Then you keep going. Page intentionally left. You can do it like that. But if you don't want to do that, just leave the page blank like that. Don't do anything there. Even in the table of content, if it ends on an even number, on an odd number page, leave the next page. Page intentionally left blank like that, like that, like that. Keep going, but don't start on an even number page. Hope that question is answered. Okay, Abby.
Yeah, well noted, and thank you for the lecture. I want to know if the section break is applicable for articles for publication.
Yes, it's very applicable.
Okay,
We will do that maybe another time. We did it last week, but
okay.
it created confusion. So I want to do this one, get it out of the system for the thesis, then we can focus on for the articles in the paper format
So
also.
what you just said concerning the page intentionally left blank and then the section break, but that one is not applicable,
Page
right?
intentionally left blank is not applicable in a paper.
Okay.
An article, no.
Thank you.
But then the
Thank you.
section breaks is applicable. But the section
Thank you.
break usually will be applicable not on the next page, but within the same page, right? So let me give you an example. let's say I want one part of the page to be 2 columns. So the left hand side has some text, the right hand side has some text. I can do section break within the page. This one is applicable for a paper and even for a thesis. So paper usually has the section within that same page, not the next page. But papers don't usually have headers like chapter 1, chapter 2. No, so that part of the next page section break doesn't apply to that. So we are trying to pick up from beginner and then we keep going. So if we all know how to create a new chapter, which is just a layout, section break, and then you unlink, then that's all we learned for this class. And that's my aim for the class, yes. So the objective was to be able to create a new chapter like that, and then also to handle the numberings that follow the chapters. Okay, any other question? I'll take 2 more questions and then we'll continue next time. 2 questions. Abstract is where you start the numbering and it is in Roman numerals. Chapter 1 or your introduction is where you start the real Arabic numbering and they must all be on an odd numbered page. I think that's the summary of the class. Yeah, any question? Any question? There's another class ongoing now, so maybe some people want to join. I have to close this one. Any question? 2 questions and then we close quickly. Let's ask if we have questions. The videos will be on the YouTube channel. You can try and revise. There's a lot I've said, so you have to practice, especially for the Mac users, and find where your page breaks and all those things are. Questions, comments, objections. 2 questions and then we can close the class. No questions? All right, thank you all very much for your patience and your time, your participation through the chat box and those who unmuted, those who are silent. Thank you all. Let's try and revise. Today there will not be any homework. The homework will be that you try and revise, watch the video again, and then try and follow and replicate what I did. So we'll see you all in the next class. Bye-bye.